as we look back at Saturday night's main event from this past Saturday, the return of the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, at the side of Jey Uso, coming to his aid after the beatdown from John Cena after his match with Logan Paul. The quarterback is back, Andy, in a huge way. And let me just tell you right out of the gate, man, what a pop this man got. From the last time that we saw him, people were saying, oh, he needs to turn heel. They're booing him. They're ruining him, blah, 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 blah. Andy, no. He's still the man. He's still the face of the franchise.
Yeah, he is. And I wasn't sure how much we were going to miss him because we knew he was going to take some time away post WrestleMania. I think he's been missed a lot more than people realize. I would say he, those times when Roman was out were rough at times, but this last month without Cody has just felt really weird and different. And so things feel back to normal. Things feel somewhat kind of where we were before WrestleMania. Listen, and I'm excited for what we're going to get at Money in the Bank, especially, he got a big pop for me because he saved us from having to go through a Logan Paul world title reign, which I was terrified that was what was about to happen. But yeah, I'm excited when Cody comes back, when Cody is involved, whether it's not always the greatest thing in the world and it's not always good. Like there have been some times in his run where just some things have not been great, but it's just different when Cody's involved. And that's true with all the greats, when with Cena or it's Roman or it's Austin or Rock. If you go back and look at the Attitude Era, a lot of what they did wasn't great. Like there was some stuff that was rough from time to time, but because of the people involved with it was always very memorable and awesome to look back at. And I think the same is true with Cody. So I'm excited to see where we go from here.
City Kitty is back in the chat, liked and shared. Thank you so much. The captain is back. She says, yes, he is. Yep. And you just alluded to it, Andy. When you're the face of the franchise, when you are the MVP, sometimes you don't always get handed the best things. You have to make the best out of a bad situation. Look what Shawn Michaels had to deal with in 1996. He was the best in-ring performer during that year. He was carrying the company. His dreams came true at a time when nobody else wanted to be there. They all wanted to jump ship. But guess what? He still had to hold the company up. And I'm not saying we're in a bad period with Cody having to do different things or whatever, but listen, you can't, as AJ Styles like to say, you can't always be at the top of the card. Even when you're the world champion, sometimes you got to do things. Now, there's nothing against Kevin Owens. That's nothing against AJ Styles or any of that kind of stuff. But to Andy's point, and Jared says it all the time when he's on the podcast, like he was starting to get a little bit tired of what Cody was doing. But Andy, to your point, we missed him. He's back. We're all excited. And you mentioned it, Money in the Bank, second year in a row that Cody is in a tag team match at the Money in the Bank event. He and Jey Uso will team up against John Cena and Logan Paul in a star-studded, probably main event of the show.
Maybe. I could see the men's Money in the Bank main eventing. It's one of the two. It's either the tag match or the men's Money in the Bank main eventing. I could also see this kicking the show off. Like if starting off with Jey Uso's music hitting and him coming out to the ring, I could see that happening. And listen, going back to kind of what you mentioned, my biggest fear with Cody was with how much of a letdown the main event of WrestleMania was. We're like wondering what people's perception of Cody would be when he came back. Whether you put a lot of other people in that spot where they've had matches at WrestleMania that go on dead last. I know you love him, but you look at The Miz, like, yes, he main evented WrestleMania, but that main event was horrible. And that's kind of been something held over him for a long time. Yep. And you wonder, like, when certain people go through that with Cody, it seems like he's bounced back. The crowd, was nuclear when his music hit. I think everybody kind of saw it coming, and it didn't take away from the reaction that he got. This tag match, I think, is no different. I think it's a great way to do something different with everybody involved. You obviously you're not going to put the title on the line with Cena, but you're going to have him at the show. And him and Logan Paul together, it makes sense to me. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see what these two guys do together. And then obviously we know what Cody and Jey can do together. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the match is going to be great. And I like the fact that Cody is put in this position and not put in the Money in the Bank. I think this is a better spot for him than being in that ladder match. So I'm all for it.
See, I'm the opposite. I wish he was in the Money in the Bank because this, again, as I mentioned, second year in a row that he's in a tag match. So I mean, last year he was a world champion, of course, so he wouldn't be in the Money in the Bank.
What was the tag match last year?
It was the 6-man. It was him and Randy and KO against the Bloodline.
Against the Bloodline? Yeah, I remember that now.
So, I mean, I would like to see Cody in a Money in the Bank ladder match. Maybe we save that for a heel run down the road. We'll see. Maybe that heel run never happens. That wild speculation, who knows? We'll see. City Kitty, again, we missed Cody. Yes, we did. Again, if you're watching us live, drop those comments, drop those questions. We love to field those. We love to answer those. And even if you're watching the replay, you can drop comments in as well, and we'll circle back and we'll make sure that we respond to you. Yeah, man, it's a good spot for Cody. It is. I think it's more interesting that both world champions are in the exact same match in Money in the Bank, which the position on the card will be very telling as to what could happen down the line if the men's match happens before this. And you got Seth Rollins lurking if he ends up winning, or whomever, doesn't matter. But it'll be interesting positioning on the card. But regardless, it's a good spot for Cody. We talked about this last week on our Saturday Night's Main Event preview about John Cena not putting the title on the line against Truth. Well, here we are in another John Cena appearance without the championship on the line. What do you have a problem with that? Are you okay? What are your thoughts here?
It's weird. Because if this wasn't his last year, I probably would have more of a problem with it than I do right now. But knowing this is Cena's last run, his last year, I'm fine with doing some of these matches and not having the title on the line. Just doing them to do them, but using the title still as a reason why you're doing it. And I think that's the most important thing through all of this. So I would love, listen, my heart was set on John Cena versus CM Punk at Money in the Bank for that title. I wish we were still getting that.
Yours and most everybody's.
I know. But this doesn't feel like a cheap ripoff. Like, this feels like an important match to have. Maybe not as important as a world title match, but you've got three of the biggest guys in the company, and then the biggest guy outside of the company as an influencer a part of it. So why not put this match together?
And I didn't, I long speculated, and this, I vouched and just went to bat for John Cena versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania. Like, I thought that was just money in the making right there. I never expected them to be a tag. Even with Cena being a heel, I didn't expect them to be in a tag. Yeah. I expected when Cena turns back babyface, boom, there's your first opponent. That's an easy one for people to boo. Yeah. Get behind Cena, and that still could happen. We're still a long way away from that. But having said that, Andy, we're talking about how quickly this WWE train is moving. We've got Money in the Bank coming up next Saturday. The Saturday after that is another Saturday Night's Main Event and WWE Evolution, the all-women's pay-per-view. And then 2 weeks after that is SummerSlam. No, sorry. I'm skipping July.
Yeah.
Mine's a little screwed up there.
Evolution and Saturday Night's Main Events in July.
It's July. That's right. Okay, so it's not the very next weekend. I apologize. My dates are screwed up. However, the point I was going to make was that we're still moving very fast through this thing, and SummerSlam is quickly approaching. Do you think this is seemingly leading to a John Cena Cody Rhodes rematch at SummerSlam, or what other direction could you see them going with either of these guys?
I mean, right now that's the direction I see, is Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam. I don't know any other story you could tell going into SummerSlam that would make sense, unless, I mean, obviously, while we do have a lot, while SummerSlam is kind of quickly approaching, we still have a couple of months to start anything, do anything. Mm-hmm. But I right now, I don't see them going anywhere else but Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. The question is, are you going to do a third match after this one, or is this where Cody gets his win back? Is able to hit him with the title belt, which, don't get me started about that whole storyline, but hits him with the title belt, wins the title back. Cena maybe turns babyface, maybe stays heel for a little while. and then slowly starts to make that journey the back half of the year. That's probably the direction they're heading in. Outside of that, I mean, maybe Roman comes back and we do Cena Roman for the title at SummerSlam. Maybe that's what you do, Punk Rome or Punk Cena. Maybe there's some options, but the one that makes the most sense to me is Cody Cena at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think we go Cody Cena with a stop at Saturday night's main event. It's Cody versus Logan Paul at Saturday night's main event. Then you get Cody Cena. I would have Cody beat Cena for the championship, build Cena back up all the way till December, and have the third match be Cena's last match, and have Cena do it the right way, come to him man to man and say, hey, let me get one more crack at this, and send Cena out the right way, doing it that way. That's the way that I would do it.